Hello and welcome at Serenity Healing Center Holistic Podcast. I am your host, Dorota Jodinska-Sulish. My journey of transformation is ongoing. I share with you how it is unfolding for me through life experiences and people who I connect with on this journey. Today, we are entering the space with native sounds of flute and drums to welcome Sharrie Jean Oliver Thompson. Sharrie Thompson, registered nurse, Bachelor of Science in Nursing, and certified clinical aromatherapist, is the founder and facilitator of Drumming Up Wellbeing. Her work supports emotional healing and nervous system regulation through rhythm, energy work, and sacred presence. Sharrie believes that having a skilled drumming facilitator offers a safe and non-verbal space to explore difficult emotions without the risk of re-traumatization. Through intentional drumming, the body releases stored energy tied to unsolved experiences, creating enough emotional distance for reframing and healing. This allows clients to reconnect with themselves and become fully present. In her holistic practice, Sharrie weaves together drumming, Reiki, mindfulness, aromatherapy, and shamanic healing techniques. One of her greatest passions is teaching other caring professionals how to safely and effectively incorporate drumming into their client support. Her personal healing journey began in 1997, following an unexpected physical collapse. Through that experience, she learned how
I was
unprocessed
thinking
stress
about
responses
who you
manifest
are,
as
as
illness
far as
and how essential it
your
is to
profession
complete the
and
stress cycle
how
to
we
regain
kind of
well-being.
slide
Sharrie says,
down to the
with
bottom of
that
the
understanding
hill,
and the
and
key
we need there
lifestyle changes,
as
I went from
aromatherapists
being a
and energy
39 years
workers
old
and
bedridden
people
goth
who
in
work
constant
more on
pain
a
to
deeper
a
soul level
67 years young
than this
goth
surface work
offering
that gives
wellness
us
support
money so we can
to
put bread
others.
on the
You
table,
can
right?
reach Sharrie at sharriethompson at
How did you
gmail.com
get from
or
RN
Facebook. It's
to
only
where you
Narelo,
at right now?
Paducah.
Well, like most people, there's a crisis because none of us really change because we think it's just a good idea. We change because we're having to respond to something bigger than what we are at the time. So I had a health crisis, and tried to resolve it using the conventional tools that I had, and had no luck. And so once the doc finally said to me, "This is as good as it's going to get. I'm sorry. Here's your disability tag. Here's your papers to fill out for disability. You will never be able to work again." And again, that created a crisis of, oh, this is not what I want for my life. I've got to go searching. And I started the search and started that desperate prayer of, what is it that I need to be doing? Show me the way. I'll walk through the doors. I'll do the path, and then I will dedicate that back to helping others. And so that is what put me on the holistic mind, body, spirit, which we were also taught in nursing school, mind, body, spirit. But conventional medicine hadn't caught up to that theory yet. So I was still practicing headache equals Tylenol deficiency rather than headache could be dehydration, or it could be something that you need a call to sit and think about something, or many other reasons for the headache before you go to the Tylenol. And
Excedrin
that,
for me.
yeah, right. You got to have that amp up of energy too. Yeah, and I don't even keep Tylenol anymore. So the modalities that I have been, shown, and for me that was, if it appears on my window screen or on my in my awareness 3 times, then it's something I need to do. So
Uh-huh.
that's how I
So you do
I
Reiki, right?
so my first journey was, my first thing that appeared was yoga, which led to Reiki, which led to everything led to something a little bit more. So the modalities, there was many, many modalities explored. Those that resulted in certification and tools that I continue to use are, the Reiki, shamanic practitioner, awareness technique, drumming, aromatherapy.
Mm-hmm.
The others were good, and I learned something from them, and I don't regret my time with them. But those are the ones that really seem to keep coming back and
Mm-hmm.
resonate. Yeah.
Okay. So what do you use drumming in your life
Ah.
for
So,
yourself?
yeah, personally, it's a spiritual connection for me.
Mm-hmm.
When I drum, I can transcend my place to a higher plane,
Mm-hmm.
connect with my higher self. Whatever your verbiage is, some would call
Mm-hmm.
that God, some would call that, spirit, source, energy. It increases my vibration. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Vibration is everything. High vibration is where health and wellness live. And so I
Mm-hmm.
can drum and it's just like playing music. How, you turn on your favorite song comes on and all of a sudden you're lifted. So for
Mm-hmm.
me personally, if I've got something that's just wearing on me, I'll just sit down with my drum and just start drumming and drum until it just kind of shifts without even
Mm-hmm.
having to think about it, talk about it, explore it, or meditate or journal, anything like that. I
Mm-hmm.
just drum and let it free flow and let the vibration of my own um let the vibration of the drumming and just my own body heal itself. I've always believed that the body was capable of healing itself. That's
Mm-hmm.
how we are made, because we are made
Right.
wondrously. um I think we have just been taught to not give it time and attention, to say I have a lot of stress. It's almost a badge of honor in our Western culture. To
Mm-hmm.
say that I'm overwhelmed is a badge of honor in our Western culture,
I'm
to be
busy.
someone, yeah, I'm busy, all right, to carry more books than you possibly have arms for, to have a bigger calendar than you can even actually accomplish. For some reason in our Western culture, we value that, and that does not allow us time to sit with ourselves
Mm-hmm.
and tap into our own healing potential. Every person has their ability to heal their own bodies, but we've
Yeah.
forgotten. We've forgotten. So
We
when I sit in,
forgotten.
right, when I sit in drum personally by myself, I am tapping back into that energy of my body going, oh yeah, I know what to do. I know how
Mm-hmm.
to handle this. My mind, body, spirit saying, yeah, we're coming home to ourselves. Let's sit with this. Let's yeah, let's just give focus, because all it really is focus. Let's just
Mm-hmm.
give some focus to this matter and it can be resolved.
Yeah, I love that about this modality, and any modality for that matter. That when I had my first encounter with spiritual modalities,
Hmm.
I was like taken all in, like, wow, what did just
Yeah.
happen? I like
Yeah.
it. I don't know what happened, but I like it.
Yeah, right. How do I
Uh,
get more of that?
yeah, it's
Where do
like
I
a
buy
drug.
this? Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
I
Exactly.
love it. Well, I'm not much of a drummer. I do have a little drum next to me. If I erase this beautiful background, you can see it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I
Beautiful.
have a little thing, and I just realized I never see that before. It has dolphins in
Mm-hmm.
carved.
Mm-hmm.
So I this one is more for this sort of drumming than hand. It just too dull for me with hand. But it was just standing there, and when I experienced the things with your drumming, I was like, yeah, I think I gotta talk to Sharrie. Maybe I can start using my drum for something more than decorations in my office.
Right. Yeah, and a real easy, simple thing you can do is just to play along with your own heartbeat.
Hmm.
And you don't have to sit and, hold your pulse and count it. But even if you just did a lub dub, rest, rest, lub dub, rest, rest, lub
Hmm.
dub, rest, rest, and just do that for the research, the evidence-based work that they've done shows 15 minutes a day
Hmm.
brings down cortisol levels,
Hmm.
decreases stress, the reactions. and allows you to find that place of healing and that
Mm-hmm.
focus that we need to provide ourselves so that we can heal. So that's easy and simple if we commit to doing the time. Do I do that?
Right. Mm-hmm.
No. No, I don't.
Busy. I'm
Right.
busy.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I'm a Western culture. I'm from the Western culture, and so we don't make that a priority. But I am
Mhm.
shifting now on being a more committed to an organized practice at
Mm-hmm.
home, so that I can, yeah, continue to provide that balance, mind, body, spirit
Mm-hmm.
balance, emotional balance, so that I can enjoy the highest level of well-being available to me.
Yes. Yes, definitely. I was just thinking before I got on Zoom today, it's like we have all these tools, and even myself, I have so many ideas, so many things moving through, like that dream catcher. I'm holding on to it for one big reason. Last year I had that enlightenment that my ancestors were coming out, and this year is going to be all about coming back to roots.
Hmm. Hmm.
And when I did the dream catcher, I had no idea how deep this is gonna go. It became like this portal of communication between the self and the past generations, and like I would say cosmos for me, because
Hmm.
it opens up so many things that I can connect to it. But your drumming and the dream catcher, it just on its own. The
Hmm.
natives, the drumming, the natives, the dream catcher. It just totally like took me in, and I was like, no, we have to talk about it, and we have to expand it and see where we can go with that. And know that a lot of people like that. Obviously you could see the emotional release that was happening around when
Hmm.
you did that. So to me it was like few things in this retreat got me, and your drumming was one of them. I really could relate to the sound of the drums and to the way they work. I work right now with a girl from Germany, and she doesn't use anything other than her voice in a
Hmm.
specific way, but
Hmm.
that's also sound healing. We add to it my voice and her voice, different tones of voice, but
Hmm.
it's really amazing how much comes out uh, through that vibration. And I did a little bit of research, just like anyone who would enter new space like that. And there is a lot of, like you said, evidence
Hmm.
on the music, the tone of the voice affecting the health, like
Hmm.
even talking, because I'm more in a meditative voice. And when I talk, when I connect, when I wanted to do meditation, even now when I'm trying to explain how it goes, my heart opens up.
Hmm.
And I know I speak from that space of care for others.
Hmm.
And when we do that, we sort of like go into the other person's energy and put this print of this energy into it to help. If the other side is ready to receive it, it just happens. So I really love that part of the beautiful noises that we make.
Right. Well, I do believe that rhythm is our primal language.
Yeah,
As we explored during the class at retreat, our first language is hearing. Our first sounds are hearing, the the vibration of mom's heartbeat, of the woman
right.
that bore us, their heartbeat, the swishing of the blood through the umbilical cord, the flow of the blood of the amniotic waters that we're floating in. Those are all sensory experiences, and the drumming is just a tapping back into those sensory experiences. Some people are so um, in tune with that or connected to that that all they have to do is touch a drum, and it creates an emotional reaction of
Mm-hmm.
remembrance, because
Yeah.
our senses is how we absorb all the information around us and start learning about our environment. And so to be reconnected with that is a beautiful gift. And I love when that happens and getting to see people going back to that time when our needs were met, when we were safe, when we were comfortable, when all was well, without our having to, go out of the cave, leave the cave and, cut down the
Mm-hmm.
game so that we can eat or plant,
Yeah.
pick the plant's forage. Um, Everything is just taken care of. And
Yeah.
all of our needs are met. And that's just a beautiful reconnection for some vibrational healing frequency. That's how oils work, as we know.
Yes.
The
Mm-hmm.
frequency of the plant is in the oil, which then raises our own frequency. Everyone will go to the highest frequency in the room. So however
Mm-hmm.
that's created, be it oil, be it chanting, be it drumming, it's going to raise the frequency, the vibration of your own individual cells and create a higher sense of well-being,
Mm-hmm.
even if you're not trying.
Mm-hmm.
You're just, because drumming to me is just not, it's not about being able to drum and create a musical. That's not how
Right.
I use my drums. I could not play along with the song if I had to. I can keep a
Uh-huh.
beat. I can keep a
Uh-huh.
beat, but I can't create a drumming background music that is appealing to the ear. But I
Mm-hmm.
could take that drum and let it become my communication, let it become my words,
Mm-hmm.
and, think about like, okay, here's a situation that seems to be bothering me, and just think about it and just let my hands and body talk to that drum,
Mm-hmm.
release that information, put that information on that drum head by however it needs to come out through my hands. Sometimes it's soft and quiet and nice and steady, and sometimes it's loud and rambunctious and erratic. And it's not music. It
Mm-hmm.
is just a different way to communicate.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yes.
communicate the feelings and sensations. And I hope you were able to experience that too. I think
Yes.
that's the true beauty.
Yes. Like I said, it really touched me. It really
Hmm.
called me. And I was thinking, okay, so when you feel like I did this week, and I feel, and I know that I wasn't the only one that felt like in a chaos of whatever it's happening,
Right,
and we get
right.
sucked in no matter what. How do you bring yourself back into yourself, get grounded? How
Ah,
do you do that with drums?
well, so I use another technique also. I use drumming too, and I'll get to that in a second. But one of the things I do before I even start drumming is I, visualize the root chakra, which
Mm-hmm.
is the center of the soul, the seat of the soul, so to speak. And I'm not a chakra expert. That's just my interpretation. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I connect that down from my own body down through the center of Mother Earth, down
Mm-hmm.
to the core of Mother Earth. And I create that portal, a link,
Mm-hmm.
a line, as a mechanism to release anything that no longer serves me. And
Mm-hmm.
then from there, I visualize another line. And I use a fishing line. My mother-in-law used to have this oil lamp that were popular in the 60s, I guess, where the oil dripped down the line
I
around the
remember
lamp.
that.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. The lamp would warm and the oil would start flowing and would just drip down the line. So that's the visual for me. It's just that oil dripping down the fishing line. And then from the center of Mother Earth, which is healing, which transmutes, which changes that with the fire of the core of the earth, melts it
Mm-hmm.
down to become something, a tool that serves us. And in that respect, that line comes back up and out and goes up to source energy, goes up to the
Mm-hmm.
highest frequency. Highest frequency in my case are, love and gratitude and
Mm-hmm.
source energy, and connects there and gets filled back up and then comes down through my spiritual point back into my heart. And
Mm-hmm.
that is, I start that cycle and just sit with that for a few moments and breathe and just allow that to cycle through and to kind of cleanse and renew and cleanse and renew. And the drumming, I don't even really have to have a cognitive thought about it. Just
Mm-hmm.
putting my hands on the drum and just starting to drum. It's a larger drum that can get a good deep sound
Mm-hmm.
deep resonance. It almost like it taps into the root chakra for
Uh-huh.
me. That root chakra being the one of being grounded, of having needs met, of being safe, of being comfortable, of being complete, of being enough. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and those deep tones and those drums, I can just play just nothing, just whatever comes to mind. Just I'm not playing a song, I'm not playing with music, I'm just whacking on the drum.
Uh-huh.
And that alone will help bring me into a very centered space.
That's
Yeah,
beautiful. Yeah, I have to stand on a grass, or
yeah,
I use essential oils to get grounded, or just visualize that I'm out there
yeah,
standing on the earth and connecting, growing roots and connecting with earth. That definitely helps me. That's I realize that walking on my walking path, it's easier for me to speak about things that I have internally that I want to express, the knowledge that comes up when I'm walking around. And I realized that, this is because I'm getting grounded when I'm out there. I'm so connected to the nature that it helps me to
mhm,
be like
mhm,
really me, not to have script, not to have anything lined up and controlled environment. It's just me and the nature, and I love that about it. This is really nice. I like
yeah.
that.
I agree with that so much. I think for me also a big part of that, and what I think this aligns with what you're talking about, is intention. And
Mm-hmm.
I try very hard to intentionally set intentions. That's part of my practice, my daily practice.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, how do I want to be today? Who do I want to be today? What do I want to be today? And this isn't a to-do list. This is,
Mm-hmm.
I want to be, it's like today. I want to be in the present moment. I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to be thinking, what am I going to say next? I don't want to be a step ahead. I want to be in the present moment, sitting with you, sitting with
Mm-hmm.
who it is I'm speaking with, hearing you fully. I can't hear you fully if I'm thinking about how I'm going to answer. So, I want to be present. I want to be kind. I want
Mm-hmm.
to be connected. Those type of things. What is it? Who is it? How do I want to conduct this day? How do I want this day to unroll? Setting that intention for me of a morning really makes my day go differently. And I feel like that's what you're also expressing that you get from those
Right.
morning walks is just it re could we say it reorients us to ourselves? It
Oh
reminds
yeah,
us who we are.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Coming home every morning, you just come home every morning. Whatever you
Mhm.
travel to the night, but come home
Right.
in the morning, right?
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, yeah. It's setting the what was the saying I used to, but anyway, I can't remember, but it was like setting the table for the next day. Your nightly prayers. That's
Hmm.
setting the table for breakfast.
Yeah, that's
How is the
beautiful.
next day going to roll out? Well, that's why you say your nightly prayers. You're
Mm,
cleaning. You're asking for forgiveness for the things that didn't go well. You're making amends for the things that didn't work out. You're pledging to do better for tomorrow. In your
hmm.
prayer life, and you're seeking what you need, and you're letting go of what didn't work. Setting the table for the next day.
Right. Like working with essential oils, it's more like that. More
Hmm.
like center
Hmm.
on, okay, I'm using this for a specific thing. But
Hmm.
when I walk out there, I just connect with the nature and whatever comes up. What
Hmm.
is it for me here today? What do you want to tell me today? Even looking at the simple things like flower or the tree.
Hmm.
I wonder what you want to say today to me. Do you have anything for me? And I think that it's like it's freedom. It feels like a freedom because I don't have to have a script. I don't have to think about what I'm connecting with. I'm just out there and being present in the nature is what does for me. And it does for you with the drums.
Yeah.
Do you connect it with any other modalities other than essential oils? How do you use it? Intention, essential oils, drumming. Do you add anything else to it?
Well, uh, just to my daily practice, or, well, I don't want to say daily practice. That makes it sound like I'm a very committed practitioner as far as my own life, and I'm not. I try. Striving is the best we can all work for, I guess.
Yes.
But obviously Reiki, just I think all energy work is the same
Hmm.
at its core. There's
Yeah,
lots of different terms, but just learning that, and I think, prayer work is energy work. Just touching someone with
hmm,
a loving kindness in your heart, that's an energy work. You don't have to have a certification or be trained. You just have to be able to find compassion and tenderness in your heart.
absolutely.
And I think you tap into that. Um, so Reiki, obviously, shamanic practitioner, when I have an issue or I have a client that has an issue, um, a lot of times we'll do a journey into
Uh-huh.
to their ancestors or to their own life before in this lifetime or even a past lifetime.
Hmm.
Or ancestral, as I said a while ago, because I think as we spoke about at the retreat, um, every pain, unhealed trauma, unhealed, undealt with emotional baggage. Genetically, they've discovered and have proven with science and research that that has can actually affect the genetic makeup of
Absolutely.
us. And for 7 years, they've done research with Holocaust and with 911, folks that suffered through that and are finding that the generations later who really don't know anything about it necessarily, other
Hmm.
than the stories they have heard, are equally as affected um, through their own genetics as those who actually lived it.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I use the shamanic practitioner portion of my education to go in and help clear things like that for myself and for others. The drumming works for bringing us back to ourselves, clearing today's trash, yesterday's trash. And sometimes we can even go further than that. We can transcend further, and the shamanic journeying works for that too. So, um,
Do you
just
travel to the stars?
yes, yes, and beyond,
Yes.
or wherever it is necessary. For healing. Our bodies, and when I say body, I'm capturing mind, body, spiritual, emotional. My basic
Hmm.
belief system about well-being and health is that when we are intact on a spiritual level, we have
Hmm.
health. When we are, and I'm not just talking about, going to church or being religious, but when we are connected with ourselves, when we um haven't suffered unhealed issues, unhealed trauma on a spiritual level, that allows us to then have mental and emotional and physical issues. So healing at that spiritual level for me is where the actual healing happens. Conventional Western medicine, we heal at a physical level. We control symptoms, um, healing on an emotional level, mental health level, same thing. We control symptoms. But I think the real healing is healing at the root cause and
Absolutely.
why is it happening in the first place? And you can get there using energy work, using drumming, using shamanic techniques, using, Reiki. Um, so yeah, it's
Yes.
all about the
I
root.
I agree. I totally agree. I remember from our aromatherapy classes when we were talking about how the smell of essential oil can invoke memory of past experiences, good or
Mhm.
bad, regardless. It will take you back to when maybe you felt or smelled this essential oil or anything that essential oil actually connects with for you. When I
Mhm.
say orange, yeah, it's an oil of abundance, but for me, it really connects with Christmas and with
Mhm.
my family.
Mhm.
Because that's what we would, where I come from and the time when I was growing up, orange was really something good to get
Mhm.
for Christmas. So
Right. Right.
that's what it connects for me. But somebody else may take you to the beach when you were on vacation or anything else. And the same way, when I feel like when we do the energy work and we just allow the person that we are working with, we are supporting with the energy, just go where they need to go. And we can travel through our generations, our ancestors, because we all have them in. I see that, like, I had my coworker saying, oh, I have this, she had some sort of disease, and she said, yeah, everybody in my family have it. And I said, okay, but you all lived in the same house, right? And you all ate the same food, right? She looked at me like, yeah, but you don't live in the same house anymore. So do you really have to stay with that? Can you change your lifestyle and change what your DNA shows? Because we get all new cells every 7 years, right? So do you really have to get stuck on that, or can you change it? And when you think about it through the generations, whatever happened in, like you said, from the past, like my grandmother, she had this and that, and it shows up in my mom, and then it shows up in me, and then if I had a daughter, maybe it would show up in my daughter, or maybe it's still in my son, I don't know. Right? But that's how this information travel. But there is also a way to bring that up and to let it go, like,
Yes,
really from deep
absolutely.
roots.
Absolutely. Just because it's there doesn't mean it has to stay there.
Yeah.
Each of us have the capacity to heal the ills of our
Mm-hmm.
forefathers, of our, generations back, and our own life. And that's a responsibility I don't think that has been ingrained in us, that we need to take that seriously.
Yeah.
Whatever I am suffering, I my children are going to have the propensity to suffer that also
Mm-hmm.
if I do not find a way to help deal with that, or they do not find a way to help deal with that, so that it's not a problem for the next generation.
Right.
If we always react poorly to
Mm-hmm.
bad news with, anger and fear, then that's going to be the tradition moving forward until
Yeah.
someone says, okay, instead of being angry and fearful, I choose to be proactive, and I choose to be, not reactionary, but I choose to be hopeful.
Yes.
That's a family tree changer that
Yes.
changes the trajectory of who we're going to become as a people. And it does, I'm not talking about just your genetic family. The people you work with, they're a family, so to speak. The people that you socialize with, there's that one, when negative talk is happening, one positive statement can totally change the conversation. One positive
Right.
statement, you know.
Absolutely.
So it's the same with our physical health, our mental health, our emotional well-being, our physical well-being, our spiritual well-being. If we are not willing to look at ourselves with clarity and with honesty and say
Mm-hmm.
what can be done differently, what can be done better, then we aren't helping our future generations and even our past generations heal and become higher um, functioning beings, more content beings, just more, period, more.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think all of this comes back to being aware of your own self, what's going on internally with you, and
Mhm.
questioning everything. I learned from my mentors that question is worth more than answer. When you question yourself, you find out the things about yourself that normally you would not probably see, and helping others with the same thing. Creating questions or asking the correct questions that will take you deeper and deeper and dig deeper until you get to that root.
And I like to incorporate that into drumming also, the curiosity. Okay, say we're going to think about something that happened last week that was problematic for you. Okay,
Hmm.
how would that, if you played that on the drum, how would that sound? Okay. great. So then they're playing this chaotic rhythm of just, whatever. But also, that's helping to release it from a physical perspective and emotional perspective. But also, let's connect that to where are you feeling that in your body? When
Mhm.
you are connecting with that angst of that moment of being at the grocery store and somebody's stealing your parking spot, you know,
Mhm.
where do you feel that now that you're playing that on the drum? Where do you feel that physically? Oh, I
Uh-huh.
feel that in my stomach. I
Mhm.
feel that in my gut. Okay. That's where you're going to have physical problems if you don't get this dealt with
Right.
because that's where you're holding that. I think you can so listen to people's language and they will tell you where they hold things in their body. Oh man, that just kicks me in the gut. When somebody says that, I know right there,
Mhm.
they're ulcer prone. They have GI issues, they have stomach issues. Oh man, I can't get my head around that. I say that. I can't get my head around that. And I try to catch myself because what I'm doing is I'm laying the groundwork for my next headache. I'm
Mhm.
laying the groundwork for my next episode of brain fog. I'm laying the groundwork for my next confusion, and my next inability to understand something because I'm speaking it out there. I can't get my head around it. I'm declaring I'm not even going to try. So in
Yeah.
drumming, what I want to be able to help people, to facilitate people doing is starting to recognize when somebody cut me off in that parking spot, it became a physical issue for me. It's dwelling in my stomach or
Mhm.
it hurt my heart because in that same mud puddle also
Mhm.
lives the last time that someone denied you something. Okay, you were denied
Right.
that parking spot, but what it also is in that same mud puddle of another time when someone denied you something, or when
Mhm.
someone cut you off, or however you interpret that, someone cut you off, or someone didn't let you have your opportunity, or someone, every time that has happened to us up until now is
Mhm.
living in that same spot. So by
Yes.
just playing about getting cut off from a parking spot and recognizing where it lives in our body and making
Mhm.
that connection and then releasing it through that drumming and understanding that how our body works with our emotions and mental aspect, we start to release the time when we were in second grade and it was our turn to lead the line to the lunchroom and we were denied, and so we interpreted that, the teacher said, no, not today, you can't do it, get to the back of the line. And we interpreted that as we were less valuable. We interpreted that as, and it was a hit to our self-esteem. It was our hit to our believing that we were worthy. And
Mhm.
suddenly we have an unworthiness belief
Oh, yes.
based on the fact that we were denied. And then when we're at the grocery store and somebody cuts us off, boom, it brings back the memory of being unworthy. It
Oh.
brings back, does that make sense?
Yes,
Yeah. So,
absolutely.
so it brings in that whole I'm not worthy belief system that we have, which for some reason we agreed to because we didn't
Mhm.
know that it wasn't accurate at that time, or someone of a higher authority or someone
Mhm.
who we trusted told us that without even maybe even using the words. Um,
Right.
and so, yeah, not getting our parking spot, not a big deal,
Mhm.
but not being
But
worthy, if it taps into all that, which it will, big deal. And that
yeah.
may be why you have an ulcer, and that may be why, you can't, you have stomach issues, or you have a chronic upset in your gut or whatever. So, yeah,
I,
far-reaching implications.
absolutely. To the root of the problem. I had experienced something really interesting few days back, maybe a week back, um, where in my meditation the word abandonment came. And I'm thinking to myself, I was never abandoned by anybody.
Right.
But when I started digging deeper and asking myself more questions, it was that out or rejected that part of myself because of da 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 da.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I was shocked how much I not buried, but just was not aware of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was not aware of me doing it to myself.
Right.
And then for me, it's a meditation and work with dream catcher with essential oils. For you, it's the drumming that brings that up.
Mhm.
But I think we also forget very often. We think about the positive side of making affirmations, but those negative side of making affirmations, we forget. We send those messages, like you said, to the universe. Be aware of your statements
Right.
because you bringing that stuff into your body.
So many times, a lot of our belief systems and the things that we accept as the truth about who and what we are were formed before we had even a language, much less emotional intelligence. So, we're 3 years old and go back to the, being denied something. No, you can't play with that new doll. We're going to give it to Susie, and Susie gets the doll, and then you're like, you have no language to understand why all of a sudden that reverts, that comes out as a feeling of unworthy, a
Hmm.
feeling of not good enough, a feeling of being less than, because
Not
you
being
don't
loved.
know those words. Right, right, exactly. So it just becomes a feeling of sharing hurts,
Hmm.
a feeling of that person doesn't love me, a feeling,
Hmm.
very basic. And then so a lot of the beliefs that we have, we don't know to challenge them because we've never sat with the curiosity of what is going on right now? Where could this
Hmm.
be coming from? And we can't always tell where it can be coming from, but we can
Right.
challenge the belief system at any time.
Right.
This feels I feel unloved. Why do, and I don't even want to say that out loud, but a client would say, I feel unloved. Okay. The why of it may not matter.
Hmm.
Why did you develop that belief? That is to me is not as important as, is it true?
Hmm.
Is it true now? Is it the truth for you? Are you unlovable? Let's sit with that. Let's drum about that. Are you unlovable? Because gosh, if a person truly believes they're unlovable, there's a whole myriad of emotions around that and beliefs that need to be broken through, that need to be released. The beauty of the drums the beauty is you don't have to know. You don't have to discuss it. Your body, your mind, your spirit innately knows. All you have to do is just be willing to let that rhythm, vibration
Hmm.
of whatever that is, come out of your hands onto that drum and it works itself out. That's
Right.
why I love the drums, is that I can't always tell you why I feel like I feel.
Yes.
But I know how I know how that feels, and sometimes I don't even know what it is I feel. But
Hmm.
I can just sit down and just think of, didn't get my parking spot today, and just start playing about how
Hmm.
that feels. And it will go into levels that I don't even understand what it is. And I play until, and with the client, this is what I do too. We play until it shifts. And you can change that. I
Hmm.
think you experienced that too with the drums,
Yes.
is that you're angry, you're playing rough. And then suddenly it's like, okay. And you start slowing down and you start relaxing and releasing, and it gets softer. And then it may get more louder and more erratic and more rambunctious again, because those are different levels of things needing
Hmm.
to release, needing to let go, needing to be healed. And then as it is, come back into that level field of balance and comfort,
Hmm.
and then it's always important after we do some work like that to put in things that are good in its place. I
Hmm.
am lovable, I am joy. And if you're like, I can't agree with being lovable yet, okay, can we be thankful? Can we
Hmm.
have gratitude? Can we even just, if you can't do anything but think about someone you love, or that
Hmm.
unconditionally loves you, and just
Or
play how
just be
that
open for
feels.
it, right?
Exactly.
I'm
Yeah.
open to love myself again, to see
Yes. Yes.
myself in a better light,
Right.
and then drum to that. I
Right.
I gotta say, when we were drumming in a group,
Mm.
that just kind of came to me right now when you were talking about it, the unity that came out of it, how we may have started a little chaotic, but we all came into the same rhythm. Now, thinking about this in a family environment, how many times there is a disconnection in a family and we all drumming our lives in a different directions, different rhythms, and we don't have the same language. How beautiful it would be to put that family in a room, give them the drums. You drum your life, you drum your view, you drum your view, and see where you're gonna get with the drumming. And if they came to the end and realized that they play the same music, maybe it's not about how you see things. Maybe it's about just being with each other and loving each other for whatever and whoever we are in this life.
Yeah. Very, 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 very good understanding of how that works. And the times that I have had the wonderful opportunity of drumming with families, I've been able to see exactly what you're talking about. In that, um, each one plays, and we may say, okay, let's play about something that's bothering you as a
Mm-hmm,
family, something that's bothering you. They know why they're there. They know what the
mm-hmm,
problem is. And so they play it. Mom's version maybe just, sounds soft and sweet and gentle, because mom's belief is that her job is to be the peacemaker and keep everything quiet and covered up and make it be okay. So mom's
mm-hmm,
kind of approaching it like, yeah, it's steady, it's even, it's smooth, it's nice. And daughter may be like, this is awful, and she may have a
mm-hmm,
totally different, and then dad may have it like, I just don't like it, I just don't like it kind of beat. So they're all different rhythms. But what
mm-hmm,
happens is, or what I've seen happen is that all of a sudden it's like, I see your pain.
mm-hmm,
I see you. I hear you.
mm-hmm,
I feel you. And for many times in a family, it's the first time they were seen or heard or felt
mm-hmm.
around that particular issue, because they all are so intent on filling their own roles in relation to that issue that they haven't really given time to working through the issue. So it's a really cool experience to watch that unfold without it even being discussed. You know,
Right.
oh wow, I didn't realize you felt like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because any of us understand what a chaotic rhythm, when we hear a chaotic rhythm, we do not interpret that as peace and calm. We
Yeah.
interpret that as, oh crap, that's
Yeah.
that's big. That's big for her. And
Mm-hmm.
having love for that person in our heart, or just being
Yeah.
human and having empathy, automatically says, girl, I didn't know you felt like that.
Right.
So rather than having verbiage and answering back, I encourage them to answer on the drum you know.
Yes.
So after Susie plays, then I say, Mom, would you like to play in response?
Mm-hmm.
So Susie plays this wild, chaotic angst that just shows her anger and her fear and her just discomfort with this whole thing. And then Mom plays something in response, and Susie for the first time hears, oh crap, Mom cares. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Mom's there
Right.
for me. Mom's got this. Or oh my, mom has some of the same feelings I do about this,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Or however it unfolds. But there we can understand rhythm when sometimes we can't understand words. Because
Right.
words, we have their own meaning and our own past relationships with them. But rhythm, it's
Mm-hmm.
just pure, and
Yes.
it's yeah, and it's not, it can't be confused.
Mm-hmm. I
So
think we are shushed too many times in life and we learn not to talk about it. Shush, don't cry. It's not right.
yeah,
Shush,
yeah,
don't talk about it because it's not right. Don't say
yeah,
that. Don't
yeah.
don't don't look at it this way. Don't look at that person. Don't make a comment. And we lose our voice.
Mhm.
But I love this about drumming that it comes with, it doesn't come from your mouth. It comes from your heart when you start drumming. Even I remember the first time, okay, just start. It doesn't matter how.
Mhm.
Like the Dr. John, right? He was
Uh-huh.
drumming, and then it gave us courage when he said, don't worry about how it comes up, just do it.
Mhm.
And that just doing it, it opened up that door for us to express. And I love that about drumming. I really do. Not everybody will sit down and talk to psychiatrists and open up. And even sometimes that we do, just talking about it and not having the right sort of feedback, it doesn't resonate, doesn't feel, it doesn't give me what I need. It doesn't bring the healing. Where when I was drumming with you, it actually was like climbing the stairs to somewhere where I needed to be and see something that was important for me to see, to become aware of things that I hide from myself and I hide from outside from the world. I really like that about it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I may say the word to you joy, and we may each have different interpretations of what that means. But
Exactly.
when I play how I feel or think, um, there's no previous interpretation for you.
Yeah.
So you literally see me. You don't go, oh, this one time I had joy. And when I had that joy, I was with so and so. And, then we're off down memory
Hmm.
lane. It just keeps us in the present moment of I see you, I feel you. I think I said this at the workshop, we're born in relationship. We're often hurt in relationship. So meaning that it's very difficult for any of us to get hurt if we're just in isolation. Usually we're hurt because of how we interpreted someone else's actions or words or whatever and didn't realize that's about them. That's not about me. But we internalized it and it turned into a hurt or, something less than love for us. Um, so we're hurt in relationships, heal in relationships.
Hmm.
So being able to drum with other people who, when they drum with you, you feel supported, you feel connected, you feel not alone, you feel heard, you feel understood. Wow. That's where the magic happens, is when the people that are there drumming with and for each other, that's what it becomes. I'm not only drumming with you, I'm drumming for you. I'm
Hmm.
walking this path with you. When you are playing and another person starts playing with you and they are playing the same rhythm you are because they're watching your hands, they're watching what you're doing, and they're playing along with you. And they're playing your rhythm, not their rhythm. What is being heard by your own soul and your own essence is someone else is willing to walk this with me. Someone
Hmm.
else is willing to be here with me. Someone else, I'm not alone. I'm not
Yes.
alone. I'm supported. I am loved. And boy, how many times a day can we be told that and get sick of it? Zero. We all
Hmm.
crave that. We want that. So just to have that from strangers that you're just happen to be sitting in a circle with, and that's the benefit of drumming in a group, is hey, here's how I'm feeling. I'm going to play this, and I want y'all to play this with me. So I'm going to play how this feels to me. I lost my parking spot. 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 And then you're playing the same thing with me. I know you lost your parking spot. I know it was you. I know that. And then all of a sudden we're playing, I know that you don't feel heard. I know you don't feel seen. I know you feel unworthy. I know you don't feel loved. And then it starts shifting and we're playing, but it's not true. I am loved. I am loved. I am worthy. And we end in that whole session of understanding that not only you're playing, but I am loved. I am worthy. And everyone else is sharing and supporting that with you. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. That was beautiful. I love that part. Really do. Like I said, it was a few speakers that really I resonated with, and your drumming was really heartfelt for me. And I really love that about it. It can bring so much healing.
Like
Do
to
you?
say is that, when you say you're drumming, yes, I'm the one who brought it to your awareness because you hadn't had that experience before. But before I ever drum, and you were there when I set the space, uh,
Hmm.
and setting the space for those not familiar, and I was not for a long time, is preparing. It's like if you're going to have a nice meal, You
Mm-hmm.
want to have maybe not the paper plates, but maybe a plate that is, more of a celebration moment. And maybe not the plastic fork, but maybe, the nice forks, the sturdy ones, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe not just the butter knives, but maybe the steak knife, which really will cut things well, or and maybe not, the plain old glass of lemonade that you have. I'm sorry to those who love lemonade, but or just water, but maybe, a nice glass of wine or water or whatever it is that you love. But it's bringing all the things that you love and that will support you best to that meal so you have the best experience. Before I ever drum with people, and this is why I don't think it's my drumming, because it is not,
Mm-hmm.
I ask that all of those who love those who will be playing today, myself, who love these folks, who want their highest level of healing, who want to be there and be supportive, that whoever, whatever that is in this universe, show up and be there for
Mm-hmm.
these folks, and that we clear out the space of anything that is a lower vibration. So I do that, with drumming and rattling and, essential oils. You can do it with anything. You can do it with prayer, intention, whatever, but that we clear the space and we set the space, just like setting the
Mm-hmm.
table before a good meal, so that everyone who does come, the place is set, the expectations are set. We're here to experience the highest level of healing that we can. There are people, there are things, all of us have the intention because it's already been set that we're here
Yes.
for each other. This isn't a solo activity of where I'm just here for myself and the rest of them, nobody has to be at the front of the line. Nobody
Mm-hmm.
has to be the first one to finish. This is we're all in this together thing. And I think that's the real key for why it translates and is
Mm-hmm.
accepted so well, is that it's not me.
Yes.
It's the intention of what it should be. And that is probably, I think, is more important than me bringing the drums or showing up, is the creating that space of opportunity. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And it was really great. And we all meet there because of self care. And I think that that was because of that, we were all open to do this for
Mhm.
ourselves, each other, and
Mhm.
support each other. And there was, well, pretty powerful, I would
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
It was a
Yeah.
great thing to experience and definitely great thing to see being experienced by others when they have each other to drum to. Okay, you drumming your music, I'm drumming with you, and that
Mhm.
was very cool. That was really something. And for a lot of us it was like this, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do this the first time. I
Yeah.
never touched the drum.
Right.
It was
Exactly.
so great.
Exactly. And it is. It's that awkwardness of, I don't know how to do this, and then being okay, knowing that everybody there is okay with it and that you're
Mm-hmm.
okay with it. And
Yeah.
some folks, I've been in session with some folks who never reached the point where they got comfortable with the drums, and that's fine too. There's
Yeah.
still healing that can be had just by being present and being in that
Right.
space together and experiencing that sense of community and connection, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever level anyone wants to participate at is never, it's never lost. There's always
Mm-hmm.
some gain, something to
Yes.
be had.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sharrie,
You're
for
welcome.
your time. I really love talking about any sort of modalities that
Yeah.
I have experienced and
Yeah.
had impact on me.
Yeah.
I really loved, and I think the name of the drum is buffalo, the big round one that you hold in your hand.
Hmm. Hmm.
The depth of that sound, it totally, I felt like it went through my heart and to the other side. It was
Hmm.
so deep for me.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how many hearts behind me,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I really, really love that. I resonate with that one.
Yeah.
So, Facebook is how people connect with you. Do you have like appointments through Facebook and stuff?
Usually I just ask people to they can reach me through Facebook Messenger, or yeah, through Facebook is an easy place to find me. And
Mm-hmm.
of course you've have that access to me already. But what I usually offer to folks is, let's chat first before we
Okay.
set any type of opportunity for a healing session, and see if I'm a fit, see if you're a fit for me. Let's see if we feel the connection to work together. Because if not, I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste my time and energy and money either. So,
Right.
let's have a conversation and see if we want to move forward, and see what if I don't feel like I'm a fit for you, then I will. If I know someone that I feel like is, I'll refer you on. Here's someone
Yes.
who has a need. How can they best be served? And
Yes.
if it's not anything that I can offer, then okay, well, we're not going to stop here. Let's see if I've got something else that I know someone, and I may know someone who you need to talk to who knows someone.
Right.
So I have a friend who says, and I love this. Let's see. You've got this. I've got you, and the universe has me. So, and I think that is a strong understanding of none of us heal in isolation. None of us heal because of just one thing.
Yes.
We need all the support and help and love that we can get, and understanding. And, you never know where or how that's going to come from. So I try to just stay open. But yeah, Facebook is to get me. And then, we'll set up a phone call and see if there's something that works, and go from there.
Let's see how many people we can get to drumming, right? And facilitate some healing. It's like that, when I see when you hit the drum the last time when you end your session, and that echo of that sound comes out, it's like throwing the pebble in the water that ripples.
Right.
Let's see if we can create that.
Yeah.
I know we can.
I love that. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.